Hello and welcome to another exam paper walkthrough. Today I am looking at the Summer 2022 series. Now that the Summer 23 series is done, we can finally release walkthroughs for last year's papers. So I'm making a series of videos. Today we're looking at the paper 2F. This will be fantastic revision for any upcoming round of exams. I hope you find it useful. I would strongly recommend you download a copy of the paper and either do it before watching the video or do it alongside the video. That's absolutely fine as well. I would also probably recommend a bit of music on in the background. I always tend to listen to something, just saving you having to listen just to me talking at you for however long this is going to take. And remember, subscribe if you like. Okay, so this is the way the paper was presented back in summer 22. I'll make a start straight into question one. So, question one, write 1,476 to the nearest 10. So, to the nearest 10, to the nearest 10, this is our 10 digit. The number behind it is a 6, so we'd round it up to 1,480. Okay, question two. Write a fraction in the box to make the calculation correct. 1 minus 3 over 10 is equal to. So we'll bring our calculator in straight away here. So we can do this calculation on our calculator just to give you the opportunity to get familiar with the buttons. So I've typed 1 minus and then typed it in as a fraction, and it should give me 7 over 10. Question 3, here is a list of numbers. Write down the mode of these numbers. So they're already in size order, and the mode is going to be the one that happens the most. So 3 happens the most. So the mode of those numbers is going to be just 3. Sorry about that, my pen was on the blink. So mode is going to be 3. There we go. Question 4, write down a 3-digit number that is a multiple of 5. So you're going to have a range of values here. It's going to be any 2 digits, which can be anything, and it needs to finish in either a 5 or a 0. So whichever one works best for you. So there's hundreds of answers. For example, 105 or 100 would be fine. Provided it's 3 digits and it ends in a 0 or a 5, that would be absolutely fine. Question 5, write 0.4 as a percentage. Well, that's 4 over 10, which is going to be 40 out of 100, which would be 40%. And obviously we can do this on our calculator. 4 divided by 10 times by 100 will also give you your value. Question 6. Write the following number in order. Write the following numbers in order of size, starting with the smallest. So the smallest one from this list, we've got negative and positive integers. So the smallest one is going to be minus 11. We're then looking at minus 7, and our final negative number is minus 2. We've then got 3, 8, and 10. Question 7. Here is a polygon A, B, C, D, E, F on a square grid. Write down the mathematical name of the polygon. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-sided shape. So that's going to be a hexagon. I think I would probably state that it's an irregular hexagon. So I'm going to go irregular hexagon. For part B, which side of the polygon is parallel to CD? So CD, that would be AF. And then write down a side of the polygon which is perpendicular to AF. So, okay, perpendicular, I would go AB, although absolutely fine would be EF. Okay, question 8. Here is a centimetre grid. Write down the coordinates of point A. So point A is at, we always give our x value first of all, so that would be 3, 2. Part B, on the grid, mark with a cross the point with the coordinate minus 4, 3. So minus 4 across and 3 up would be that point there. Label the point B, so B. And then on a centimetre grid, draw a circle with a centre of minus 1, 1 and a radius of 4 centimetres. So we're going to have realistically, compass would be good for drawing this. So I want 1, minus 1, and then in effect I want a circle that goes through these points. So I would strongly recommend you use a compass for yours. I'm going to hopefully put in a shape of a circle, and then let's just see. Right, I think I've gone up one too high, which is quite nice to spot. So we're going through those coordinates. So let me just see whether I can make it see-through. There we go. So I've got centre of 1, minus 1, and then going through those 4 points that I've corrected now. Obviously you'll draw yours with a compass, but that's about as accurate, well, that is the best I can do on a screen like that. Okay, question 9. The graph shows information about the number of houses sold by an estate agent in each of 6 months last year. Number of houses sold. How many houses were sold by the estate agent in February? So in February we're looking at reading this point off the graph. And my pens. So in February it looks like we sold 20, and then we're going up in 2, so it looks like 23 to me. Part B, for this estate agent, write down the ratio of the number of houses sold in January to the number sold in June. So January to June, so J to J. Jan to June, we'll do the original numbers. So we've got 10 sold in January, and in June it looks like we sold 50, 56. And then we can obviously simplify that slightly. So if I put that in as a fraction, that will simplify it nicely for me. So that's going to be 5 to 28, although I don't think you'd get any marks for not simplifying. It doesn't say in the simplest form. I just like to simplify it where I can, particularly on a calculator paper, where the calculator can do the work for me. Okay, question 10. Sanaya wants to book a holiday. The holiday will cost £1,428. She'll pay the deposit of £150. She will then pay the rest in 6 equal monthly payments. Work out how much each monthly payment will be. So in effect, I want to do 1,428 minus the deposit of 150, and then divided by 6, which is the equal payments. And I'm going to use my calculator for that. So 1,428 minus 150 divided by 6. That gives me £213. Question 11. The diagram shows a triangle ABC. ACD and BCE are straight lines. Work out the size of the angle marked with the X. Give a reason for each stage of your working. Okay, so I'm going to work out this angle first of all, which I'm going to call angle ACB, and that's going to be equal to 180 minus 25 plus 116. So that's going to be equal to, so I tend to, for any of these reasons, give reasons. I show my working and then I explain my working. So 116. So that equals 39 degrees. And my reason for that is that angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So angles in a triangle equal 180 degrees. And then I'm going to say that x then is also equal to 39 degrees. And my reason is it's a vertically opposite angle. Vertically opposite to ACB. And that's all I need for that question, so 39 degrees. Okay, question 12. Here is the number machine. Input, divide by 7, and then plus 5 to output. Work out the output when the input is 28. So 28 divided by 7 is going to give me 4 as my midpoint. And then plus 5 is going to give me 9. Obviously, I can do that with my calculator if I need to. Here is a different number machine. The number machine is not complete. When the input is 8, the output is 144. Complete the number machine. So we've got an output of 154. Our midpoint or our middle value is going to be 154 divided by 11. So I think that's 14. So what do we, if we start with 8, what do we need to do to 8 to get to 14? That would be plus 6. So plus 6 would go in that middle part, in that first function. Okay, question 13. Sophie works in a bed shop. During the last 3 months, she sold 198 beds, and then we're given some information. Use the information to complete a two-way table. So let's start 198. First piece of information, I'm going to put that in as my total and cross it out there. 59 beds were sold without mattresses. So without mattresses, that means I can put a 59 in there. 45 of the beds were double, so 45 can go there. 17 of the single beds were sold without a mattress, so 17 can go there. And then the final bit is a double piece of information on the same line. 67 of the 83 king-size beds were sold without a mattress, so that means that I can put a with the mattress, so 67 can go there and 83 can go there. So now I've put all the information from the question into the two-way table, and then I'm going to switch pen just to show I'm now going to work on the other bits of information. So I'm going to start over here. So if I do 198 minus 59, that will give me 139 were sold without mattresses. I'm going to do this one next as well. So 83 minus 67 is going to give me 16. I'm going to do this one next. So if I do 45 plus 83, that gives me 129. So 198 minus that answer gives me 70. I'm then going to do, what it there, 70 minus 17 give me 53. And then 53 plus 67 is equal to that, and I want to take that away from 139, so that's going to be 19. And then I can do this two ways, so I'll do it the long way first of all. So if I do 17 plus 16, that gives me 33, and then 59 minus that gives me 26, and then I can double check that with my other. So that should also be 45 minus 19, gives me 26 two ways, so I'm fairly confident that I will have got that right. Okay, question 14. Box contains 3 mathematical symbols: equals, less than, greater than. From the box, choose a symbol that makes the following statements true. Well, 5/8 is bigger than 2/8, so that's going to be that symbol. Minus 2 times minus 3 would be 6. And a minus 3 plus 9 would also be 6, so those two are equal. Okay, question 15. The table says information about the numbers of social media accounts used by each of 300 students. So the number of social media accounts and the frequency. Work out the total number of social media accounts used by these students. So the total is going to be, I'm going to have to times these together. So in effect, I'm going to do 0 times 3 plus 1 times 57 plus 2 times 84 plus 3 times 75 plus 4 times by 81. Don't need to do the first one, so 1 times 57 will just be 57 plus 2 times by 84 plus 3 times 75 plus 4 times 81. So that's going to give me 774. Okay, B, find the median number of social media accounts used by these students. So the median is going to be the middle value. So in effect, I'm going to say 300 plus 1 divided by 2 is going to be equal to 150.5. So I'm looking for the 150th and the 151st positioned ones, and to be fair, looking just for the 150th would be fine. So I'm going to kind of keep a cumulative frequency going then. So 3 plus 57 would be 60. 60 plus 84 would be 144. So we've still not got the 50th or the 51st. So both the 50th and the 51st are going to be in this group here. So that's going to be 3. Okay, question 16. On a scale drawing, a building has a length of 12.4 centimeters and a width of 9.4 centimeters. The real length of the building is 62 meters. Work out in meters the real length, the real width of the building. So we've got length and width. We've got on the scale drawing 12.4 and 9.4, and then in real length is 62 meters. To be fair, it doesn't really matter my units as much as it should. What I'm going to do is I don't need to convert. So to get from 12.4 to 62, even though there's a change in units, I can just do 62 divided by 12.4. So I've times that by 5. So if I times this one by 5 and then convert it into meters, that would be absolutely fine. So 5 times by 9.4 would give me 47, so it would be 47 meters. Question 17. On the grid below, draw the graph of y is equal to 4 minus x. So I'm just going to rearrange this slightly and say y is equal to minus x plus 4. So if I compare that with y is equal to mx plus c, then I'm looking for a line with gradient of minus 1 and a y-intercept, of 4. So y-intercept of 4, and then for every 1 across, I'm going to go down 1. And then using a ruler, I'm just going to join those up. So there's my graph. You could have done it from table of values, that's absolutely fine, or using the table function on your calculator, that would be fine as well. But from properties of graph, I think is the most efficient way. Question 18. This sign was in a doctor's waiting room. 115 appointments were missed last month. These missed appointments were a total of 25.3 hours. Work out the mean length of time for each missed appointment, giving your answer in minutes. So I'm going to take the total number of hours in minutes, so I'm going to say that's 25.3 times by 60, and then I'm dividing that by the number of appointments, so 115, and that should give me my answer. So fraction button 25.3 times by 60, just double check my numbers, and I want to divide that by 115. So that's going to be 13.2 minutes. 13.2. Question 19. Nimra buys a 3 kilogram box of sweets for £17.60. She puts the sweets into bags to sell. Each bag contains 150 grams of sweets. Fills as many bags as possible. She will sell each bag for the same price. She wants to make 35% profit, assuming she sells all the bags. What is the lowest price that she should charge for each bag? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is work out how many bags she's going to sell. So 3 times by 1,000, that's to convert that into grams, divided by 150 grams will tell me how many bags she can sell. So that does look like it will give me a whole number, but let's double check. So 3,000 divided by 150 gives me 20 bags. So she's got 20 bags to sell. She wants to make a 35% profit. So if I take the amount of money that she spent and I times that by, so a 30% profit. So we want an increase of 30%. So that's going to be a multiplier of 1.3. So if I do 17.60 times by 1.3, that would give me the price that she needs to make, and I divide that by 20 to find out the price that she should sell each bag for. So I'm going to do 17, actually I'll do it as a fraction, so I'm doing 17.6 times by 1.3, and I want to divide that by 20. So that tells me she should sell each bag for 1.14. That doesn't sound right. I think right. So she wanted to make 35% profit, and I put it as 30% profit. So that's my mistake. So let's readjust my answer. There we go. So that should be 1.188. So if she actually sold it for 1.18, she wouldn't quite make 35% profit. So she's going to have to sell it for £1.19. Okay, question 20. Lorena gets a train at the same time each morning to go to work. She gets a train at the same time each evening to come home. The probability tree diagram shows the probability of each train arriving late. Complete the probability tree diagram. These probabilities would need to add up to 1, so I can just do 1 minus 0.13. So the probability that it will not be late is going to be 0.87 in the morning, and then on the way home, so that's going to be 1 minus 0.06. I can use my calculator if I needed to, 0.94, and that's the same there, 0.94. For a day that Lorena goes to work out the probability that the train to work and the train to home will both arrive late. So I'm going to have to, that's the top branch, so I'm going to have to multiply those two probabilities together. So 0.13 times by 0.06. So 0.13 times by 0.06 gives me, so it's in standard form, but I'll give it, so I'm sure you could get away with your answer in standard form, but I'm going to convert that to 0.0078. Question 21, simplify. We multiply the powers here, so that's going to become x to the power 15. Let's just tidy that up, x to the power 15. Expand and simplify, so we're going to multiply the brackets first of all, so 4 times x is 4x, 4 times 3 is plus 12, 7 times 4 is 28, and then 7 times minus 2 is going to be minus 14x. So I have a habit of writing my x's first of all, so I'm going to write that as minus 10x, and then my number part is going to be, including the operator, plus 40. And obviously 40 minus 10x would also be absolutely fine. And then part C, factorise fully. So they both have a 3 in common. They both also have an x squared in common. So I take that out as my common factor, and then to get 15x cubed, I would need to times 3x squared by 5x, and to get 3x squared y, I would need to times it by y. So that's my fully factorised. Question 22, describe fully the single transformation that maps S onto T. So important here, S onto T, so I'm going from here to here. So if I pick, we've obviously not changed the orientation, all we've done is moved it, so that's going to be a translation. And then we just need to give the vector. So we've gone, if we pick a like point, so let's say that point and that point, to get from there to there, I would need to go across. So that's going to be minus, because we're going to the left, so minus 2, 4, 5, minus 5, and then up 2, 4, 6, so minus 5, 6. Question 23. The length of a football pitch is 90 metres, correct to the nearest metre. Complete the error interval. So that's saying what's the smallest that could possibly be. So the smallest that could be that's rounded to 90 as opposed to 90, as opposed to 89 is going to be 89.5. Again. And then the largest it could be that would be rounded to 90. Bear in mind that we've got our inequality symbol saying that it's got to be bigger than 89.5 but less than our second value is going to be 90.5. Okay, question 24. Festival A will be in a rectangular field with an area of 80,000 meters squared. The greatest number of people allowed to attend Festival A is 425. Festival B will be in a rectangular field of 700 meters by 2,000 meters, so we're not given the area, we're given the dimensions. The greatest number allowed to attend Festival B is 6,750. The area per person allowed for Festival B is greater than the area per person allowed at Festival A. How much greater? Give your answer correct to the nearest whole number. Okay, so the area for Festival B would be 700 multiplied by 2,000. And we're dividing that by the area per person. We want the area per person, so dividing that by 7,650. From that, we want to subtract the area per person at Festival B, which would be 80,000 divided by 425. So that's going to be equal to, I'm just going to do it like that. I'm not going to do any stages for my working. So 700 times by 2,000 divided by 6,750. And from that, I want to subtract 8,000 divided by 425. So that's going to give me 188.58. Give your answer correct to the nearest whole number, so I'm going to write it down twice. I'm going to write it down just going to write it down like that. However, I think that that's too big. If we actually look, 80,000, and I've typed it in as 8,000, so there's a mistake. So double check what you type into your calculator. There we go, that looks much more like it. So 19.17211 dot 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 to imply that I haven't rounded, and then to the nearest whole number, that's going to be 19. Callum says 200 centimeters squared is the same as 3 meters squared because there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter, so you divide by 100. Callum's method is wrong. Explain why. Well, I would say that 1 meter squared is equal to 100 centimeters times by 100 centimeters. So it's equal to 10,000 centimeters squared, not so that's my reasoning. So 3 meters squared, I'll do it that way. 3 meters squared is equal to 30,000 centimeters squared, not 300. Question 25. The points L, M, and N are such that L, M, N is a straight line. The coordinates of L are -3, 1, and the coordinates of M are 4, 9. Given that the ratio of L to M to N is 2 to 3, find the coordinates of N. Okay, so if we work at the difference in the coordinates between L and M first of all, and then so if I look at my x coordinates first of all, so I'll do that up here. So my x coordinate of L to M is going to be equal to, in effect, -3 -4, so that's going to be -7. So that's 2 parts and we want 3 parts. So if I do -7 divided by 2 times by 3, then that's going to be -7 divided by 2 times by 3 gives me -10.5, and then we would need to add that on to 4. So -10.5. So -10.5 plus 4 . Actually, I shouldn't have done minus. So to get from there to there, we've actually gone +7. So it doesn't particularly affect things. It's just a little bit of easier to explain my reasoning at the end. So to go from there to there, in effect, we're doing there's a difference of 4 minus -3. That'll be +7. So that's going to be 7 over 2 times by 3 is 10.5. So my coordinate would be 14.5. My y coordinate then, so my y coordinate has gone from L to M, has gone from 1 to 9, so 9 minus 1 is going to be 8. If I do 8 divided by 2 times by 3, that's going to give me 12. So then I'd finish by doing 9 plus 12, so we want 12 more, so that's going to be 21. There we go, so 14.5, 21. 26. A new phone costs £679. The value of the phone decreases at a rate of 4% per year. So decreases, so that's going to be a multiplier of 0.96. Find the value of the phone after 3 years. So we're doing 679 times by 0.96 to the power 3. So there wasn't a decimal point there. 679 multiplied by 0.96 to the power 3, and that gives me my value of the phone as 600.7357 ... So I'm going to say it's worth £600 and 74 pence. Question 27. In Spain, Sam pays €27 for 18 litres of petrol. In Wales, Leo spends 40.80 for 8 gallons of the same type of petrol. €1 is worth £0.85 and 1.4 litres is worth 1 gallon. Sam thinks petrol is cheaper in Spain than in Wales. Is Sam correct? So I'm going to kind of do this with a few ratio tables. So in Spain we've got €27, so and we get 18 litres. Right, I'm going to have to convert twice, and what I'm going to convert to is completely up to me, but I'm going to convert them both into pounds per litres. So I'm going to convert this into pounds first of all. So if €1 is worth 0.85 pounds, if I times that by 0.85, so 27 times by 0.85, so that's going to cost me £22.95. Sorry, £22.95 for 18 litres. I'm going to do. I'll leave a little bit of space there because I'm going to convert something else after I've got my comparables. So then I'm going to look at Wales. So in Wales, Leo spends £40.80, and for that he gets 8 gallons. So again, I'm going to convert that into pounds and litres. So £40.80 for, and if I want to go gallons into litres, I'm timesing by 4.5. So 8 times by 4.5 gives me 36 litres. Okay, and that actually works out quite nicely because in effect this is a multiple of this. So if we actually halve this one, then Sam would pay £20.40 for 18 litres. So Wales is cheaper. So I'm going to put cheaper. So Sam thinks petrol is cheaper in Spain than in Wales. Is Sam is correct? No. No. Petrol is cheaper in Wales. Okay, question 28. Solve the simultaneous equations. To solve simultaneous equations, we either need to make our x coefficients the same or our y coefficients the same. Interestingly here, I'm going to do I very, very rarely show this as a method because normally we don't have numbers that we can do this with. I can actually simplify this first equation. So if I divide everything by 2 in this second equation, that would give me 3x plus 2y is equal to 14. So now I've got my my y coefficients the same value. So from there, I'm going to subtract one from the other. I'm going to do equation 1 minus equation 3. That will give me 5x minus 3x would be 2x. And then 27 minus 14 is going to be 13. Yeah, but double check. 27 minus 14 is 13. So that means that x is going to be equal to 13 over 2 or 6.5. From there, I'm going to substitute my value for x into one of my first equations. Actually, it doesn't. I could do my third equation because it's a simpler version. We'll substitute it into no, I'll stick with one of my initial equations. So I'm going to substitute x into equation 1. So 5 lots of x is going to be 65 over 2, or 32.5. 32.5 plus 2y is going to be equal to 27. So if I minus 32.5 from both sides, so 27 minus that answer is going to be minus 11 over 2. So 2y is going to be equal to minus 5.5. So y is going to be equal to, divide that by 2, minus 2.75. Right, and then it's always useful, 3 marks at the end of the paper. We're all going to be tired at the end of a paper, so I'm going to do a quick check, and I'm going to check with whichever equation I didn't use. So technically 2, but I could use 3 to make things slightly easier for myself. But 6 times by 6.25 plus 4 times by minus 2.75, does that equal 28? So if I've already got minus 2.75 in, so if I times that by 4, and then to that add 6 times by, I've typed that in wrong, that was 0.5, times by 6.5, that does equal 28, so I'm fairly confident that I'm right there. So x is going to be 6.5, and y is going to be minus 2.75. Okay, that brings us to the end of that paper. I hope you found that useful. Just before I sign off, here is the actual full, so this is paper 2F, ignore that top bar. This is a spreadsheet of the skills that were involved in each of those questions. So those are the skills that were involved. So for example, if you found, let's say question 22 the hardest, that's transformations. I would strongly recommend you do a little bit of an independent revision on that as a topic area. So thank you very much for your time in listening. I hope you found that useful. Please type any questions, comments, questions into the chat with this video. I'll be fairly prompt in getting back to you. Thank you very much for your time in listening. I hope you found it useful. Subscribe if you like, and I will see you soon.